audiences in connecting with the work of the writers. So thank you all very much for coming. I'm going to introduce you to Catherine Dunne. Catherine is Vice Chairperson of the Irish Writers Centre, and obviously she's a member of the board. She's done a huge amount of work on this particular project. She's known quite well in Italy as a writer, and it's very appropriate that she should have led this particular project. Catherine Dunne.
Thank you, Jack. Buongiorno a tutti e grazie per essere qui. Benvenuti al Italo-Irish Exchange, a questo evento che siamo onorati di ospitare. Questo non c'è uno degli appuntamenti che riuniscono scrittori irlandesi e scrittori italiani. È una relazione in costante evoluzione e la nostra speranza è che questo diventi presto un appuntamento importante sulla scena letteraria di entrambi i paesi. Was that okay, teachers? It was the fruit of one very early morning's labours. Thank you. And you're very welcome, everybody. It is wonderful to see such a large gathering of people here this morning. Jack mentioned the genesis of this particular project, but I think, as with so many events which eventually take off, it was really coincidence, it was chance that started this exchange going. I really didn't know what I was letting myself in for when I agreed to have a cup of coffee sometime back in 2010 with Federica Scaggio. She insists it was tea, and this is how we go back and forth. She decided at that point that the ties, the literary ties that should exist between Ireland and Italy, that they were not as strong as they might have been. And so we began to ask ourselves, what might we do to introduce Italian writers to Ireland, Irish writers to Italy, and in the process to give everybody, both those who were more established in their careers and those whose careers were only beginning, to give them a little bit of exposure and to continue a kind of a cultural conversation between our two countries. So 7 of us, we call ourselves the Magnificent Seven, with modesty. We travelled to Italy last year and we had a magnificent welcome in both Verona and in Nogarole Rocca. And we spent 3 or 4 days there with a lot of public readings, meeting writers, playwrights, journalists, poets, prose writers, the works. Talked about translation, talked about politics, ate some lovely food, drank a little wine, and generally had a really wonderful time. None of that would have been possible, and none of this would have been possible without the support of the institutions who came together very willingly to help us get this exchange off the ground. And Jack has already mentioned the Italian Institute of Culture, and we can't praise them highly enough, in particular in the person of Angela Tangiano, who we're going to miss very much when she leaves Ireland later this year. We've developed a really close working relationship over the last couple of years, and there have been lots of events such as this one here, others in the Writers' Centre, some in Trinity, where more and more the audience between Ireland and Italy and our joint literatures is growing. We got support from the Ireland Literature Exchange, from Culture Ireland, and also, as Jack has mentioned even today, the willingness of the Board of Works to make this theatre available to us this morning. The 7 of us who travelled last year then became the committee to organise what was happening this year. And I'm delighted to say that in the audience today are several of the next Magnificent Seven that will be going to Italy next year, and they in turn will become the committee for the writers coming back from Italy the following year. And so it will go, a back and forth between the two countries that we hope that this is only the seed, that this is only the beginning. So we wanted you to meet us, we want you to meet the Italian writers who are here, and we wanted you to know just that little bit of background about the exchange. So what we're going to do is each of the Magnificent Seven is going to introduce one of the Italian writers who will be reading for you today. So once again, thank you very much for coming, and I'm now going to call on Anthony Glavin to introduce our first Italian writer. Thank you.